Hi, Rainbow Class. It's Teacher Winnie, and I'm going to read you a book called The Wave of the Sea Wolf. This is a Tlinget tale, Northwest Native American tale. Notice it's all made of cutouts. This is the princess here in her canoe. See the bear? We're going to learn all about them. And look at this. It's a huge wave, but what does it also look like? A wolf. Let's see what happens. The Wave of the Sea Wolf. Wonderful drawings in this book. See the shapes and colors they use? From the misty land between sea and mountains, the tops of the tallest trees can rarely be seen. But when the clouds part, a marvelous thing can be observed against the sky, a war canoe trapped in the trunk of a lofty cedar. See that? Way up there in the cedar tree. The tree has grown around the battered craft, lifting it higher with each passing year. Though its painted prow is splintered, the canoe seems to sail proudly on an airy ocean of green and gray. How did it come to rest in this unlikely place? The few who remember will tell you. Way up in the cedar tree. Long ago, in the land of the Tlinget, there lived a young princess named Chokeen. She was the only daughter in a family of many sons and was admired for her intelligence as well as her beauty. One day, Chokeen and her friends planned to gather salmon berries. The fresh fruit would be welcome after the winter diet of dried fish. "You may go," said her mother, "but stay away from the mouth of the bay. Great waves suddenly appear there, and many lives have been lost." "Perhaps Gnokadet, the sea wolf, makes those waves," said Chokeen. "Anyone who sees the sea wolf is sure to receive great wealth and honor." "And what use are wealth and honor after drowning?" replied her mother. "Hear me, do not go there." Here's her mom saying they can go pick the berries, but do not get next to the bay. The girls beached their canoe on the far shore of the bay and entered the forest. Their faces fell when they saw bushes bearing unripe fruit. "Let's keep walking," said Chokeen. "Perhaps riper berries are ahead where the trees let more sunlight through." "But that is at the mouth of the bay," one of her friends protested. "Mother did warn us about the water," reasoned Chokeen, "but not the land." See them there? Very beautiful forest. What a huge tree. The girls found plenty of bright yellow fruit. Her basket filled, the princess climbed onto the great trunk of a fallen tree to survey the calm water. "I see no danger here," she declared. At that moment, the rotten wood beneath her gave way, and Chokeen plunged into darkness. Uh-oh, you can sort of see that the tree is rotted a bit. Oh my gosh. She fell all the way down. There's her bowl of salmon berries way down. And look up here, way up high. Her friends are looking down the hole where she fell. They look a little upset. From the bottom of the hollow trunk, Chokeen gazed upward at the anxious faces of her friends. "I'm not hurt," she called, "but I can't get out. Go back to the village, fetch a rope and one of my brothers." That's a good idea. "Should one of us stay with you?" said her friend. "No," said Chokeen. "Two can paddle faster than one." The girls began to cry. "We just can't leave you," they sobbed. "That is foolish," the princess chided them. "How can you come back with help if you don't go away? Now hurry." She's saying, "Come on, I'll be okay. You go back and get some help." Alone in the dark hollow, Chokeen heard the rustle of leaves. Startled, she peered into the gloom and saw a scrawny bear cub. "Poor thing," cried Choking. She felt about for scattered berries and fed them to the starving creature. The cub raised its head and howled. Scampering toward the hole, it tried desperately to climb out. "Hush, little one," the princess commanded. "Help will be here soon." Suddenly, a deep rumble vibrated the tree. The dead timber began to groan and creak. Choking braced herself as the huge trunk swayed back and forth. The bear cub pressed close to her side. Then she heard a roar. A sound beyond the power of man or animal. Cried Choking. "It's the sea wolf!" She climbed up, hoping to be able to catch a glimpse of him. Wow. A frothing wall of water was bearing down on them. Look at that. Oh my gosh. The wave crashed into the trunk and sent it spinning through the forest. Great booms shuddered through the wood as it collided with rocks and trees. Choking clapped her hands over her ears against the grinding and splintering. She was sure their clumsy vessel was being torn apart. At last, the huge tree ground to a halt. Salt water gushed into the hollow, lifting Choking and the cub to the top. They climbed out, gasping for breath as the waves surged past them. Let's take a peek here. There is the cub holding on to Choking. The wave is crashing and tossing them about. Oh my gosh. Ooh. That's dramatic. Oh, looks like it's evening now. The waves receded slowly. The unhappy cub drew near Choking as evening fell. That night, both shivered with cold and hunger. There they are. I see the stars and the moon through the cedar trees. Choking marveled at the vision. She saw the reflection of the moon and shadows of trees, and there was the sea wolf. She remembered how her brothers had kept lonely watch in the wilderness, praying for the appearance of Yek, the mighty spirits that granted wisdom and ability. Sometimes girls also saw these spirits and were blessed by them. You know what? Teacher Winnie knows something. All the time girls can see them, and they gain much wisdom. Yes, they do. But no girl had ever seen the sea wolf. Overcome with awe and wonder. In fact, I don't think anyone had seen the sea wolf. I think she's the first person. Overcome with awe and wonder, Choking fell to her knees. The moon and stars swam before her eyes. Yet she smiled, for she knew that a great gift would be bestowed upon her. She was smiling still when her father and brothers rescued her the next morning. She knows she saw the sea wolf, and it will give her powers. Thereafter, Choking could foretell the giant waves, which are also called tsunamis in Japan, giant waves that marked the sea wolf's travels at the mouth of the bay. The trembling of the earth and the sound of the sea told her, but it was the howl of her bear that meant a wave was coming. Look at him now. The bear is all grown up and big, and when the bear knows a wave is coming, he howls. But they can also feel the earth. And way at the end of the bay, it looks like a wave might be starting. The fishermen were grateful for her predictions because now they could travel the waters in safety. The village prospered, and the people accorded Choking great honor and wealth. She is able to help her village. They know when they can go out and fish and hunt, and then she can warn them to come back in quickly and get to high land if a big wave is coming. One morning, Choking saw a huge black creature emerge from the mists of the bay. Its back sprouted great trees from which flapped enormous white wings. "Is this not Raven, the creator of all?" Chokeen gasped. She turned away quickly, for to see Raven with unshielded eyes was to be changed to stone. What do you think? Chokeen thinks that's a huge monster with flapping wings. What do you think? She's running with the bear to the village. She ran to the village where she found her father calming the people. "What you see is but a ship," he said. "It contains men, not unlike ourselves, from a land across the water. They come bearing goodwill and a stock of useful wonders. They have traded with villages to the south." Chokeen was comforted by her father's words, but she felt uneasy during the weeks that followed, as her people traded furs for the strong metal tools of the strangers. You know, Chokeen was feeling uneasy. She was listening to her intuition, which is a very good idea. If you feel uneasy but you're not sure why, you should listen to that. Yeah, it's probably warning you. Of course, if your intuition is telling you something's wonderful, you should listen to that as well. One evening, Chokeen's father returned from the black ship in haste. "Great danger is upon us. Leave your belongings and flee." Uh-oh. Oh no. I think Chokeen's intuition was correct. No sooner had the people departed than loud booms pierced the twilight. As Chokeen and the elders watched in horror, the longhouses collapsed in splinters. That's where they live. See, it's the night. See the ship? It looks like it's firing cannons. And look, their homes are burning. Makes me sad. "Why is this happening?" asked Chokeen. "The foreigners demanded more furs than we had," her father told her angrily. "They ordered us to trap more. I refused, for animals cannot be hunted without mercy and reverence. And so to punish us, they are using their weapons to destroy our homes." He turned to his daughter. "You have been blessed with wisdom and power beyond your years. What can be done?" Chokeen gazed somberly at the burning village. "I shall ask the sea wolf." You know, her father, the chief, was correct. You can't just keep hunting and hunting until no animals are left. You just take what you need. And then you can have more and it'll last forever. Those aboard the black ship did not notice how the earth shook that night. In the morning, few noticed the deepening swells that slapped the vessel's hull, or the bear that began to howl in the ruined village. Do you remember what it means when her bear howls? Then a war canoe bolted toward the mouth of the bay, propelled by a dozen warriors. The craft carried Chokeen and bundles of costly fur. At once the black ship raised anchor and pursued it. That means chased it. The black ship thinks it can catch it and get those furs. There was a loud boom, and the sea erupted about the fleeing canoe. The ship is actually using its cannons on the little canoe. But the sea erupted about the fleeing canoe, and this time the boon was answered by a roar. Roar of the sea wolf. Oh yeah, there's Sika Chokeen in the front there. She has called the sea wolf to help save her village. The wave of the sea wolf rose like a mountain behind the black ship and fell upon it with the fury of a living thing. In an instant, the vessel disappeared in a mass of churning foam. Then the wave thundered on to engulf the canoe. Oh, look at that wave. The sea wolf. Can you see that it looks a little like a sea wolf there? I see an ear maybe and an eye. It's gobbling up the wicked ship. And here's the canoe. I hope they'll be okay. The war canoe flew on the rising crest of Gnakadet's wave. It's almost like it's surfing on the top of this huge wave, skimming the treetops as it entered the flooded forest. Well, if you've ever been in a very big forest with cedar trees, you know how tall they can be. So this wave was actually as tall as the trees. That's a big wave. The princess's kinsmen guiding the craft could not avoid the cedar tree that loomed ahead of them. Their speed was so great that the prow split the tree apart. The canoe was wedged firmly in the cleft, and its occupants rode out the flood in safety. They were saved because the canoe rode right into a tall cedar tree and stayed there while the waters receded. See, they can climb down with ropes. It's calm out now. There's the bay. I see the princess and her bear. The princess and her kin returned in honor to the village. The long houses were rebuilt, and for a time, life went on as before. But the foreigners kept arriving. A wave of newcomers flooded the land, bringing new ways at the expense of old and transforming the very fabric of earth, sea, and sky. Seeing the end of all she had known, Chokeen was sick at heart. She walked into the forest to find solace. That means to find comfort. You know, new people can come. It's wonderful. It can make a land much richer with lots of culture. But they don't want to erase what's before. You want to embrace all the different cultures and learn from each other. These changes, she told herself, are but the work of ignorant men. You know, the sea wolf confounded these people once. Will not mightier spirits than the sea wolf, even the earth itself, prove them wrong again? Her gaze fell on the canoe lodged forever in the treetops, and a spark of hope kindled within her. Until that time comes, she said aloud, I must be like this canoe. Once it carried me to safety, so now I must carry the ways of my people past this danger. This she did, and the generations between then and now have brought the princess's wisdom forward to this very day. Wow, there's the canoe she's looking at. It helped bring her to safety. There she is. And you know, she told her wisdom. She told her wisdom to her children, and her children told them to her children, and that kept on going. And so right now, today, the wisdom is still here. So we should listen to her wisdom. I think she knows what she's talking about. Well, thanks a lot. That was a great book. See you later.